Did they get rid of the colors? What? No, there must be something wrong here. Where's the colors? Oh man. This car wash was fun. Now it's just another boring automated car wash. Where's all the party lights and stuff? Oh man. Oh wait. There's some color. Oh, that stuff smells good. We got some color. We don't have any of the party lights. Sorry guys. Okay. This part's always kind of nerve-wracking. Like I've never been on a plane, but I could only imagine that that's what a plane would sound like. This car wash didn't really do a good job today. I don't think. I think this is a new machine. Yeah, I still got stuff on my windshield. Oh well. Better than nothing, I guess. Alright YouTube, welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today, as we are filming this, is currently March 4th of 2023. This is the 1-year anniversary since I purchased my 2017 Honda Civic LX. So, as in tradition, we're going to do our very first annual review of this Honda Civic, and I'm not gonna lie guys, there's not a whole lot to it. There's honestly nothing to this at all. This is probably gonna be a very short video, but hey, the show must go on, right? My 2017 Honda Civic LX. This is indeed my first Honda purchase. This has also been a fantastic car, as I honestly was expecting for it to be, since it is a Honda, and Hondas have really good, great reputation as far as reliability and such. Some of the longest lasting cars on the road are Hondas. A lot of million-mile cars that you might see on the internet, Hondas. And this is my first venture with Honda, and I decided to make the switch for several reasons. The first being, last year I took a job as a Honda technician, so I was with Ford. I decided to jump ship, went with Honda, and it wasn't necessarily my only reason for getting this car, being that I changed brands to Honda, but also I was needing something a little more fuel efficient. The Fusion, which I had before this, a 2015 Fusion, so far the best car that I've had as a daily driver. I did not have to do anything to that car with the 3.5 years of ownership, nothing major. And it was a great car. It was a lot bigger than this, and it was a little, gas hungry. My commute to work is a lot longer, so this one here, this particular Civic, was actually a car that I got to see get traded in. I kind of saw what a disaster it was when it was traded in, and it was also one of the first used cars that I actually got to work on when it went through inspection and stuff. So I got to see and do things to this car, oil, transmission fluid change, did inspection on the brakes and stuff, and everything had passed, and it was going to be a good car. So it was at the dealership for probably about a month, maybe not even that, but roughly about a month. And I originally thought about getting a Civic because I, really enjoyed how it drives. They just drive so nice. I did have a silver sport Civic in mind. I think it was like a 2018 or 2019 that I had my eye on, and unfortunately that was a little too much. So then I went back to this one, and just kind of knowing what I had got to do with this car when it was traded in, and I know, like I said, what was done with it, the overall condition of it. It cleaned up really well, when detail had it. And I drove it and I was like, this is a fantastic car. I had a good feeling about it. There's honestly only two things about this particular car that I would change if I could. And, well, I can probably change one of them. Unfortunately, I can't change the other. But the first thing that I wish was different was the color. Black, not my first choice. We just took it through the lame car wash, and it looks good now because it's clean, and this car looks fantastic if it stays clean, minus some of the defects in like the paint, and there's some swirl marks from whoever did a waxing on it years ago or whatnot. But overall, I mean, it looks pretty decent in black. It's a good looking car in the black exterior color. The other thing I would change are the wheels. I've grown to accept the fact that it's steel wheels with plastic covers. I do like the design of the plastic covers, but the wheel itself, we have some rusting going on behind it, which that's okay. Nothing a can of Rust-Oleum can take care of one day. But I can at least change the wheels, and that's something I've tinkered with, the thought of anyway, as of like recent. But overall, guys, this vehicle is, I'm not gonna lie, it's only been a year, but I'm pretty sure this is my favorite daily driver that I've ever had, hands down. And that takes a lot for me to say, only because I really do get attached to a lot of the cars that I drive all the time. It was really hard for me to let the Fusion go. It was really hard for me to let the Escape go too. The 2011 Escape that I had before the Fusion. And the Escape is a car, honestly, that I really want back, and that's another idea I'm tinkering with. But I've really enjoyed the last year with this particular Civic. This car has been just so fun to drive. It is, for what it is, I mean, it's a lower end Honda. This is an LX, so it's the base model, as you could tell from the wheels. The only optional equipment on this particular car is the CVT transmission. A manual transmission would have been standard in 2017 on the LX model. So somebody opted for the CVT. That's the only option on the car. Everything else, bone stock. And it's great. This car is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I'm pretty sure this is probably my most favorite car that I've had to date. It's a great car. Sorry guys, I know it's breezy. I do apologize. But, I probably could have washed the car myself today because the sun did decide to come out. It's still pretty chilly though, so that's really the only reason why I thought maybe taking it through the car wash would have been better today. And yeah, so it's clean at least. Let's take a quick look at the the cosmetics of the car over the last year. And so like I said, when I bought this car last year, it was definitely not in the best of shape. I'm the third owner. I'm pretty sure the second owner really didn't do a whole lot as far as taking care of the cosmetic end of it. Now, the Carfax did reveal that service was done periodically, and that's a definite plus when it comes to you know, buying a used car, especially when you're going to be the third owner. But this car has a really good service history. It was actually, all the services were done, you know, at the pretty sure it was at the dealership that I work at now. So the car never really left home for anything else according to the Carfax, and that's definitely a good thing. But the cosmetic end of it, the car had scratches. Of course, it being a black car, you know, everything kind of shows up. One notorious scratch was here on the hood, and you can still kind of see the markings of it in the sunlight, but it was touched up by the people who come to the dealership, and they kind of take the little paint pens, and but you can still see the mark there. You can't really see it all the time. The entire front bumper was also, maybe not the entire, I think just this side was repainted, and unfortunately some of the paint is chipping off already where the new paint has been applied. I guess one good thing about it being a black car is that really does not show up all that much unless you really stare at it. This is my job. I turned the dealer plate over and painted it black to match, but something's been taking chips out of it, so I could just respray that, no big deal. Headlights are still clear. Like I said, the hood, you know, we've got some scratches here and there. Some of them you can't see, some of them you really have to look into. You know, we got some weird swirl marks here and there. The automatic car wash didn't do the greatest of jobs today, obviously, but at least it got some of the fresh dust and stuff off, some of the road salt. The back of this whole back bumper, when it came in, was also destroyed. So I'm pretty sure the whole back bumper was repainted, if I'm not mistaken. Got a scratch here on the back deck. That's really it. Nothing, no new dings, no new, well, not that I could tell anyway, no new obvious scratches, but still looks really good. The wheel covers, they're all kind of scuffed up. They were like that when I bought it. But I guess one advantage to having those wheel covers is I can order a new set if I really wanted to. So it's got its pros and cons. One other thing that I was thinking about changing at some point on this Civic is the chrome belt here in the front. Later on, after 2017, certain Civic models came with a black chrome belt here, and I'm thinking about changing it over. I'm in no hurry because the whole bumper has to come off and I really don't want to have to do that. I do like the chrome, do not get me wrong. The chrome looks pretty sweet, especially since it's so, you know, goes from end to end. It looks really awesome. One downside to having the black paint job, however, is this part here on the lower half is always black, you know, regardless of what model. So if it were red down here, then this would be black and it stands out more. So that's really the only upsetting thing about, you know, that lower part being black, is because, well, since the whole car is black, it doesn't really pop like it would if the car was any other color. So I might as well, maybe in time, make the top end black also, and at least that'll make it look, definitely give it more of a stealthier look. The only other modification that I have done to the car so far, I did put LED headlight bulbs in and took out the old incandescent style, or the halogen style. And those have made a difference, not only in appearance, but in the night driving as well. Inside of my delightful Civic, nothing has really changed. All of the seats are still in fantastic shape. Finally got the black interior back, so maybe easier to keep clean. Definitely looks better than, you know, having a gray or tan interior, especially with the outside being black. So the black outside with the black inside is a fantastic touch there. I did add weatherproof mats, and they cover the entire floor pretty much. They're some off-brand, but I did add those over the winter to try and keep the salt off of the carpet. I know the sun is directly behind me, I'm sorry. I'm debating on whether I want to leave those in there all year round or not. I do have some brand new floor mats in the trunk because the original floor mat had a hole in it, and the other ones were kind of stained up. So I got a brand new box of floor mats from Honda in the back that came with the car when I bought it. They have not been put in yet. They weren't even opened yet. But I'm tinkering with the fact of maybe leaving those in there, you know, just for the heck of it. Other than that, I really didn't clean anything recently. There's some dust here and there. I do apologize for that. Got some stuff in the back here, but nobody's ever really been back here. I may have had like 2 occasions where somebody sat back there. Yeah. All right, so the part that I think everybody's waiting for is our mileage spec. And of course, like I said, I got the sun directly here. Let me make sure the music comes down. Okay. So, as of right now, oh, the dust and the sun. All right, so right now, as always, I reset Trip Computer B on all the cars that I drive to keep track of the mileage for each year and, you know, in this case, fuel economy. This car does have a 4-digit odometer, or trip computer, I should say. So when they hit 10,000 miles, it rolled back to 0. So that's no big deal. 12,074.5 miles in this past year. And I'm averaging 35.7 miles to the gallon as far as my gasoline usage. 12,000 miles a year. And like I said, that was reset on this day last year. So the car itself is currently at 63,372 miles total. I was not counting on the mileage of this car being racked up so quickly, because my job commute is a little bit longer, and the fact that we did actually take this car to Myrtle Beach last fall, and that alone, round trip was about 1,500 miles. So even though I didn't want the mileage to really rack up so quickly on this car, I'm pretty sure that's the most mileage I've put on any of my cars in a long time within a 1-year period. I'm pretty sure like the Fusion was still under 12,000 miles a year. It might have been like 9 or 10,000 a year. And, you know, I obviously still drive the Saab and the Grand Am, you know, a couple of days each week, just so this car can kind of take a break and not be used, you know, because I really don't want the mileage to keep going up. I like to try to preserve it, but, you know, that's just life, I guess. So I really did hit 12,000 miles in a year for year 1 with this car. And everything else, you know, I have no complaints about anything else on this car. I really wish the sun wasn't behind me because I would have dusted all this. Spring's around the corner, so heavy duty cleaning season is upon us. But no, I really have no problems with anything in this car. Everything is still working just fine. I did buy some Honda cup holder inserts. I don't know why I saw them at work and I bought them. I just thought they would kind of be a cool touch. But anyway, so yeah, no, the car's great. The one gripe that I did have was about my media, because what I usually do, of course the sun's moving, what I usually do is I will use a flash drive with all of my music and albums and stuff on it. And the one thing I didn't like about this with the flash drive was the file organization. Now keep in mind, I came from a car that had the Microsoft Sync system, which I'm not gonna lie, I still think is the best infotainment system that I've ever used. The voice commands are so much better. As mentioned, the file organization, even on a flash drive, was so much easier to navigate. This particular system here doesn't do album commands with your voice. Even with the phone, I can say, you know, call and then the person's name with sync, and then it will recognize the name in my phone, dial it, and then yeah, it was just so easy. This one I can't do that. Now I've learned since then that there's a speed dial function, and I can actually, you know, add up to, what is it, 20 numbers or something, 20 contacts, and then I could just go through there when I'm driving and, you know, do that. So I mean, that's one thing. I haven't set it up yet, but I did find a solution to my music issue. I had my old iPhone. I cleared everything off of it, and now I strictly use it as an iPod. And let me tell you, now, as you can see, everything is arranged so much better. All of the album or the artists are showing up, and then, you know, you click on the artist and then all of their albums are there. And this here just turned out to be so much easier to navigate with. And not only that, if the song's got the picture on it, it brings up the picture, which I wasn't even expecting when, you know, I decided to hook it up. So using an actual iPod definitely made that situation work out so much better for me, and it's a lot easier now to find something to listen to and find it in a quick manner, even though the voice command would always be the fastest way to do it. Unfortunately, this system doesn't do it. Yeah, that's really the only gripe about that system, but I'm fine with the solution that I've got here. It's not that big a deal at all. This Civic has the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated. This is the engine that I wanted specifically because the only other engine offered in the Civic for this year was a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. That's a lot more common in the more upscale trims, but the LX has this engine here. And you know me, if it doesn't have to be turbocharged, then I can definitely accept it more, a little less issues. This engine's been fantastic so far. When it's paired with the CVT, it is like a really good pairing. The engine and the CVT propel this car from a stop pretty quickly. So it's definitely a good pairing in this application. We've done 2 oil changes to it so far, and we're about halfway there to the next one. The only other thing that I've had to replace on this car so far, and it was just a few months after I bought it, I did have to put a battery in it. This car still had the factory battery, which at the time of purchase, or inspection I should say, the battery did pass. However, one day I was leaving lunch to go back to work and the battery was completely dead, just out of nowhere. So I jump started it, I tested the battery back at work, and it failed. So we bought a battery for it. That's really it. I do have a clean air filter and cabin filter at home that I have not put in yet. We will be doing that probably at our next oil change. That's it. I got no complaints at all about this engine. Everything so far under here has been copacetic, as they said in the 90s. So, it being an LX model, there really isn't a whole lot of differences between this and my Fusion, which my Fusion was an S. Bare bones, no options at all, S model. And they both pretty much came equipped with the same, standard features, and that's including things like cruise control, automatic headlights, rear backup camera, air conditioning, a lot of the simple stuff. And on top of that, even though this thing doesn't really have a full, I guess usable voice activation system, the Fusion had the voice command with sync. This one's got a limited voice command, which again I'm still kind of tinkering with here and there. I haven't really used it a whole lot. It may come in better, it may come in better handy once I get like maybe the speed dial and stuff for all the phone numbers put in. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference between the features that this car has compared to the features that my Fusion has had. And yet there are a few things here and there that this Civic has that the Fusion never had. And one thing I can show you is this brake hold system, which I never demonstrated. But there's a button here next to the shifter that says brake hold. You have your seatbelt on. Obviously the car's got to be running. It'll bring up a little lamp next to the gas gauge that says the system's on standby. And then as you're getting ready to come up to like a stop sign, or if you're in a situation where you're going to stop and you start applying the brakes, once the car realizes you come to a full stop, you're going to see another light there that says hold. It's going to illuminate, and at that point you can actually take your foot off the brake pedal and the car will stay still. I do not use this in traffic situations because I do like having complete control of the brake pedal. But when you're in like a drive-through line or any kind of maybe traffic standstill, you are going to love that feature. What is this? Road will be closed. Oh, okay. It's not closed yet. Good. I don't want to have to turn around. But anyway, yeah, so that brake hold function is great for like, you're sitting in a traffic jam or in a fast food line for a long time. And that's really the only time that I ever use it. Other than that, I usually keep it off and complete control of the actual pedal for me. This car is a blast to drive. I know a lot of people who think, because it's an LX Civic, it's nothing like the SI or nothing like the Type R Civics, which, yeah, those cars are sweet. I could only imagine what it would be like to drive, especially the Type R. I could only imagine how that car drives, because this, for a base, just a regular LX Civic, man, it handles so well. I mean, this car is responsive. Like I said, with the 2-liter combined with the CVT, it takes off pretty quickly. You don't have any shifting, obviously, because it's a CVT, so the transmission will automatically, adjust gear ratio. I mean, it's almost like driving a go-kart in a way. It's a blast. I absolutely love it. The ride itself really isn't bad either. Now, the Fusion was comfortable, a little more comfortable in the fact that it was more of a family sedan. It was definitely a little bit bigger. This car here, it kind of be considered like a sports sedan. It doesn't have as much comfort as the Fusion did, but it's not bad. It's definitely nothing to complain about. I think it's pretty comfortable. We took the car to Myrtle Beach. That was like, 11, 12 hours, in the car. And I had no problem sitting in this car, and driving that long in it. I felt fine in it. I thought it was a pretty, comfortable car. So nothing to complain about as far as ride quality goes. And of course, you just saw there, the gas usage. We were at 35.7 miles per gallon. That is a lot better than my Fusion. My Fusion, when I traded it in, was at, I think, 26 miles per gallon. And that was the average throughout my entire, ownership. Obviously the averages change depending on your trip usage or your driving habits and such, but that's all part of your ownership, man. So when I traded that thing in, it was at 26 miles per gallon. We gained about 10 miles per gallon in this car, highway and city combined. Alright guys, so like I said, probably a pretty quick video here on the 1-year anniversary of this 2017 Honda Civic LX. Like I said, the best way I can sum it up is fantastic car, and like I said, it's probably my most favorite out of all the cars that I've had in a long time. It's so fun, it's very sporty, it looks good. I'm looking forward to the rest of my time with this car. It's been a great car. I regret nothing about making the switch from my Fusion to this. So that's all I've got. If you guys enjoyed this video, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, take care.